Welcome to Synergy, JEE and NEET online classes. Reaction between acetone and methyl magnesium chloride followed by hydrolysis will give what? See, first let's see what is acetone. Acetone is this. CH3 one side, other side also CH3. Now here there is a partial double bond character, partial positive charge character will be there for the carbonyl carbon because more electronegative oxygen is attached to that. So this is partial positive carbon. Now if it is reacted with methyl magnesium chloride, which is Grignard reagent, methyl magnesium chloride. So now Grignard reagents has a polarity like this. Carbon has a partial negative, magnesium, which is the electropositive element. That is why being a good electropositive element, it is having partial positive charge. So here this partial negative will be attacked to the partial positive carbon of acetone, and in that process this pi bond, which is the weak bond among sigma and pi bonds, so that will transfer to oxygen. So it will form CH3, CO and CH3, and here methyl group from Grignard attacked. And what is the byproduct? Byproduct will be magnesium. Actually the magnesium will be going and coming here, magnesium chloride like this. Now when you hydrolyze this one by using water or acid water like this, a couple of different reagents can be used, but in that process the main thing what happens is here O minus, which is there, that picks up the hydrogen from the reagent. It may be water or acid water. It will take O minus, will take H plus. So once it takes H plus, it will become CH3 COH and CH3 and CH3. The other byproduct will be magnesium, already one chlorine is there, and OH of reagent will be attached there. That is the byproduct. That is not required here. Now, if you look at this one, this carbon is attached to 3 carbons, left side, right side, bottom side. So therefore it is a tertiary carbon. And to this tertiary carbon, OH group is attached. Therefore it is a tertiary alcohol. This one is actually this is a tertiary alcohol. Because alcoholic group is attached to the tertiary carbon. Now, if you ask me which type of which tertiary alcohol it is, total how many carbons are there? 4 carbons are there. So 4 carbons are there means but word, root word is but, and butanol, ol. Butanol means alcohol with 4 carbons. And since it is a tertiary carbon where OH is attached, it is called tertiary butanol. So that is the name of this one. So if you look at the options here, first one is secondary butyl alcohol. Secondary butyl alcohol will be this. Alcohol, butyl means 4 carbons. This is secondary carbon. So to this, if OH is attached, this is called secondary butyl alcohol. Tertiary butyl alcohol, just now we have seen. But means 4 carbons, tertiary carbon, OH is attached. This is what the answer we got, and this should be the answer. Isobutyl, and so I will explain, although this is not the answer. Isobutyl will be structure like this. 3 carbons will be there in this manner at the terminal position of the group. And since we require 4 because butyl is there, so one more carbon attached and to this OH is attached. If this group is there at the terminal of the alcohol, we call it iso alcohol. Now here isopropyl alcohol. Here isopropyl means fourth option. Iso means just now explained like this group will be there at the terminal. And propyl means only 3 carbons, already 3 is covered, and OH will be there. This is what the isopropyl alcohol. Identify compound X in the following sequence. As you see here, the toluene is reacting with Cl2H nu and followed by water, and you are getting aldehyde. So when this will happen, let's see. See, toluene when it reacts with Cl2H nu, Cl2 in the presence of light, free radical mechanism takes place. So, and free radical is more stable on the benzyl position rather than on the benzene ring. So, this it is more stable. How it is more stable? Because of resonance involvement with the benzene ring, this free radical is more stable. So, ultimately the corresponding product, therefore what you will get is CH2Cl. But if only this compound if you take and if you hydrolyze, if you add water, we can expect substitution of Cl by OH group. That means benzyl alcohol we will get. But they are getting benzaldehyde. So that means somewhere we are doing wrong. Where is the place we are doing wrong? This compound, if it reacts further with Cl2H nu, then we will get one more time free radical will be developed, and that will transform into two chlorines. So already one chlorine is there, one more chlorine will come. Suppose if this compound is hydrolyzed, then you will get in the place of two chlorines, two OH groups you can substitute, and these two OH groups on the same carbon. So there is not so stable compound. So if you eliminate water molecule from it, you will get benzaldehyde. So that is what the product they are expecting. That means actually here in the first step, when toluene is reacted with Cl2H nu, 2 times chlorination must have happened. That's why ultimately 2 chlorines are replaced with OH and transformed into the aldehyde group here. So here X should be containing 2 chlorines on the benzyl carbon position. So here 3 chlorines are there. So this is not our answer, first one. Now second one, only 1 chlorine is there. First of all, benzyl carbon itself is missing. So this is anyway not our answer. Next, here only 1 chlorine is there. Yes, it is possible, but it will not lead to the benzaldehyde. So this is not our answer. This cannot be the X. Now here, yes, 2 chlorines are there, and this is our option. In this reaction, benzaldehyde and acetophenone are reacting in the presence of dilute NaOH. What is this reaction called? See, acetophenone structure is this. This is aceto group attached to the benzene ring. Now when it is reacted with a OH minus base, this OH minus attacks on the acidic hydrogen, resulting in carbanion like this. This carbanion then attack on the benzaldehyde. Benzaldehyde is another reactant given in the question. So this will attack on the benzaldehyde, because in benzaldehyde this carbon has partial positive charge because of oxygen attachment. So C minus will attack on that carbon. So in that process, the pi bond will go to the oxygen as O minus. So what will result? pH, CH, and this becomes O minus. This O minus is taken up CH2, CO, pH. Now this one will take H plus from the water. Water is a solvent used. So from water it will take H plus and becomes into OH group. Now, so this group, normally an aldol kind of group is there. In order to form condensation, in order to undergo condensation, heat is required. Then only we will call aldol condensation. But here, this is a special case where without any heat, the compound will condense on its own, because it will produce more stable double bond. That's why it could easily dehydrate or condense to give this product. See, this double bond, if you see, this double bond not only in conjugation with C double bond O, it is also in conjugation with benzene ring. Therefore, this double bond is highly stabilized because of this resonance. That's why without any heat, the molecule automatically condenses. So this is the final product. Now, so in the total reaction, first aldol reaction happened and then followed by condensation. So it comes under the aldol condensation. But again here, since the reacting molecules, the involved reacting molecules are not same, because one molecule is estophenone, the other molecule which is being attacked is benzaldehyde, not estophenone. So two different molecules are participating in an aldol condensation. So in such cases, it is called as crossed aldol. Cross term is used when two different reactants are involved in condensation process. So in the given options, if you see, out of 4 options, only one option is satisfying with crossed aldol condensation. That is the third one. So third one is the right answer. Which of the following alkane cannot be made in good yield with the Woods reaction? So how to answer this question? First you understand what is Woods reaction. See, in Woods reaction, we use some alkyl halide and sodium in the presence of dry ether. Dry ether role is solvent, not much more than that. And what happens when you take two molecules, this Na will separate these two halogens and it will couple the carbon groups in this manner. This is called Woods reaction. So as you can see here, the product is a symmetrical alkane. Always in Woods reaction, symmetrical alkane is the main product, organic product. Now in this, as you can easily see, why we are calling it as symmetrical? Because if you break along a bond, left side and right side, you will get same kind of carbon groups. If you are getting like that, if you break along a bond, left side and right side similar carbon groups if you are getting, that is called a symmetrical alkane. Okay. Now, let's see the structure of all 4 compounds here, all options, and see which one is having symmetrical alkane. That should be our answer. Now, first one if you take N-butane. N-butane means, N means normal. Normal butane means all linearly you keep arranging and with 4 carbons. That is what normal butane. And normal butane as N-butane, there is a symmetry is there here. See, left side 2 carbons, right side 2 carbons. And they are asking which cannot be made. So in the question it is mentioned which cannot be made. So therefore this is not our answer. This can be prepared. That's why it is not our answer. N-hexane. Hexane means there should be 6 carbons and linearly, because normal hexane they are expecting, so linearly arrange 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, if you break along this, here and here, this both groups are similar again. So this also can be prepared in Woods reaction. So we don't want this answer. 2,3-dimethyl butane. So 2,3-dimethyl butane means, but means 4 carbons and 2 and 3 position dimethyl groups are there. Now here also, if you break along this bond, left side and right side parts are as similar as you see. So therefore, this also can be prepared in Woods reaction. This also is not our answer. So only one option is remaining. That must be the answer. Let's check it out. What is that? So fourth one, if you see, N-heptane. N-heptane means there are 7 carbons linearly connected. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Now, if you break along any carbon-carbon bond, you will not get left side and right side same number of carbons here, or symmetrical alkane here. So therefore, it is not possible to prepare this one as a main product in the Woods reaction. Okay. For this, in order to prepare this kind of products, you need to take 2 different type halogens. For example, if you take propyl halide, butyl halide, now in Woods reaction if you take, then this part and this part will join to get N-heptane. Then you may ask, sir, N-heptane then can be prepared by this Woods reaction also. If you take different halides, it is possible to prepare them, na? Yes, it is possible to prepare. But the problem is here, when you take 2 different halides, not only this compound, you may get this compound, this one molecule of this can combine with another molecule of similar compound. So you may get hexane, you will get hexane also, because suppose let's call this compound as A and other compound as B. Here this is a combination of A and B. If you attach A and B molecules directly, you are getting this. But it is also possible that A and A directly can combine. Then 3 molecules here and another molecule of similar compound, if you take, then this 3 and this 3 if you join, AA combination will give you this product. Similarly, a BB also can join. A B and B, when it joins, you will get 8 carbons. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is BB combination. So like that, this is also possible, and AA also possible, and AB also possible. But they are expecting us to see here, they are expecting that Wood's reaction, the alkane cannot be made in good yield. It should not be made in the good yield. Yes, this fourth compound also can be prepared, but it is not in the good yield. We cannot prepare them in good yield, because by taking 2 different halides, although we can prepare, the 2 products are the byproducts we are getting. So it will decrease the percentage of what we want. That's why fourth option is what they are expecting from us. Therefore, this is the question. This is the option. Compound which cannot be prepared in good yield in the Wood's reaction. An alkene on ozonolysis gives methanol as one of the product. Its structure is, see, I'll tell you one trick to find the ozonolysis products in case of alkenes. So whenever alkenes is given, suppose if I take an alkene like this, some bonds are there attached to, some groups are attached to the double bond carbons. Now whenever ozonolysis we are doing, you break this and attach oxygen and oxygen. So for example, in this molecule, if I break, so double bond O, and similarly the other part also becomes like this. So for example, in the first case, if I have to break and attach oxygens, you break this one, then here O and here O you will get, and only one product you will get, which contains C double bond O, and a ring will be there in this manner, and the other part also becomes C double bond O. So in this manner, as you see, there is only one product, but methanol is not forming. Methanol means there is only one carbon and aldehyde group. That is what? Methanol. That is not coming here. Only one product here it is coming, and which contains many carbons. Now if you look at the option 3, so similarly if you break here and put oxygen, again only one product you are getting, and that is not one carbon product. And here 2 products you are getting, and first one will be, left side part will become like this. So if you break and put oxygen, it will become like this, and the right side one becomes like this. And none of them is methanol. Methanol means only one carbon and aldehyde, and it is a 2 carbons aldehyde. It is ethanol. So that this is also therefore not the correct answer. Now what about option 2? Option 2, if you break, then you can clearly see the left side part becomes into like this, and right side part becomes into, there are 2 hydrogens attached to carbon. Yes, here only one carbon, that 2 aldehyde we are getting. Therefore option 2 is the right option for this question. In this question, elimination reaction of 2-bromopentane to form pentene. See, 2-bromopentane, the structure is like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 carbons I have taken pentane, and second position bromine. Now when it is reacted with, suppose alcoholic KOH if I take, then what happens? Elimination takes place, and you will get pent-2-ene or 2-pentene will be formed. So in order to form this, the hydrogen here will be removed by the base, and this Br will be removed, and therefore the double bond will be formed here. Now if you look at it, at bromine attached carbon, if you call alpha, the next carbon to alpha is beta, next carbon gamma, delta, like this notation. Now as you see here, beta position hydrogen is getting eliminated along with the halogen. Therefore, this is called beta elimination. So here elimination process is beta elimination. And in this process, actually two products are formed. One is this product, which is actually a major product. The other one, this product. You can eliminate hydrogen from here also. This is also beta carbon. So you can eliminate hydrogen here also to form this product, but this is a minor product. Why this is a minor product? Because there is a one rule called Zaitsev rule, which is also called Zaitsev's rule. It says that the alkene with more number of substituents more stable. The stability of alkene is proportional to the number of substituents. More substituents, more stable. For example, pentatoene, if you take, look at the double bond carbons. This is one substituent, this is second substituents. So total number of substituents are 2 here. Whereas if you look at the other one, look at the double bond carbons. There is only one substituent is there. Therefore, this is more stable, and hence this is majorly formed in the reaction mechanism, whereas the other one is less stable. Therefore, this is the minor product. And this reaction is called dehydrohalogenation, because since in this reaction Br is getting lost and hydrogen is getting lost, so hydrogen and halogen both are getting lost, so therefore this is called dehydrohalogenation reaction. Now if you look at the option, so hydrogen and halogen is losing. Here Br is losing, therefore hydrogen and Br is losing. So this is dehydrohalogenation. Now first one is beta elimination given. So this is right answer only. And follow Zaitsev rule. Yes, it is following Zaitsev rule. And dehydrohalogenation. So this is also correct. Dehydration. Dehydration means loss of H and OH. H and OH, if they loss, then it is called dehydration. It is not happening here. So this is wrong option. So ABC is given only in the second option. So this is the right answer. Which of the following amine will give the carbylamine test? See, first I will explain one point in carbylamine test. Carbylamine test, if you take, where the primary amine, there's a primary amine will be there, and which only participate in the carbylamine test. Primary amines is what? See, if nitrogen is attached to one carbon and 2 hydrogens, it is called primary amine. If all hydrogens are there, if 3 hydrogens are attached to nitrogen, we call it ammonia. If 2 hydrogens, 1 carbon, it is called primary amine. And if 2 carbons are there attached to nitrogen and 1 hydrogen is there, it is called secondary amine. And if all are carbons only, then it is called tertiary amine. So 3 carbons are attached to nitrogen, it is a tertiary amine. Now in carbylamine test, there is only primary amines participate in reaction. For example, R and H2. R can be any alkyl group or any aromatic group, it does not matter, but it is carbon group. Then it is called a primary amine. And primary amine on reaction with chloroform in the presence of a base, strong base, will transform into RNC. RNC is a isocyanide. RCN is a cyanide, so it is called isocyanide, and it has a foul smell. So this is one indication to identify the reactant is primary amine. Secondary amines and tertiary amines do not produce any such foul smelling kind of compounds. Therefore, they do not give this test. So if you look at the first one, here nitrogen is attached to 2 carbons. So it is a secondary amine. Second option, nitrogen is attached to 3 carbons. Therefore, it is a tertiary amine. Third one, nitrogen is attached to again 2 carbons and it is also a secondary amine. Fourth one, as you see, nitrogen is attached to 2 hydrogens and only 1 carbon, so it is called primary amine. Only primary amines will give carbylamine test. Therefore, right answer for this question is 4. Sucrose on hydrolysis gives what? It's a direct question from the NCERT textbook of carbohydrates chapter. Sucrose is a product of glucose and fructose, alpha D glucose and beta D fructose. Therefore, if you hydrolyze sucrose, it breaks down into glucose and fructose, that to alpha D form and beta D form of fructose. So that is a direct question which you can refer to the carbohydrates chapter of NCERT textbook. So here in first one both fructose are given, here glucose and fructose given, but beta glucose given. Okay, so which we don't want, which is alpha glucose, and alpha glucose is there, and beta again glucose is there. That's why this is also wrong. And fourth option, if you see, alpha is there and beta is there and glucose is there, fructose is there. That's why this is right option. So actually maltose, lactose, sucrose, they have given in NCERT what compounds, what combination of carbohydrates is resulting this disaccharides. Okay. Which of the following is a basic amino acid? See, basic amino acid means that compound should have, amino acid should have more number of NH2 groups. Normally amino acid has COOH, H, NH2 and some carbon group will be there. This is the general structure of amino acid. Now, if this R group has one extra COH group, then the overall compound has then the overall compound will have 2 COH group. Then we call it acidic amino acid. If this R group has one NH2 group, then the overall compound has 2 NH2 groups. Then it will be acting as basic amino acid. Now, if you look at the alanine structure is methyl group and CH, COOH and NH2. This group is anyway common in all amino acids. If you put them apart, then what is remaining is CH3 here. And the CH3 does not, it does not have, the overall compound does not have any 2 NH2 groups to be called as basic amino acids. So eliminate it. Now tyrosine. Tyrosine has a structure of benzene ring and here CH2 group is attached to the common group. Common group of amino acid is this one. To this group is attached in the tyrosine and it does not contain any NH2 group to be called as basic amino acid. Lysine. Lysine has NH2 group attached to CH2, 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 CH2. Like that 4 CH2 groups will be there. These 4 CH2 groups will be attached to the basic structure of amino acid. So in this group, if you see, there is one NH2 group is there. So since overall compound has 2 NH2 groups, it is called basic amino acid. Whereas serine, if you take, it will have OH, CH2 and this is attached to the basic, this is attached to the fundamental group, amino acid group, which is this. So here, if you see, overall in the 4 compounds, only lysine, only this compound, this amino acid has 2 NH2 groups and 1 COH group. Whereas rest all are having only 1 NH2 group. Therefore, this is called basic amino acid. In this question, which of the following is a cationic detergent? So cationic detergent means positive charged detergent. Now look here. You need not remember what is sodium stearate, cetyl trimethyl ammonium bromide. These molecular formulas and all structures you need not remember. But then how to answer these questions? See, actually, first of all, these molecules you can find in chemistry in everyday life chapter in NCERT textbook. But without remembering the molecular formulas or structure, how to solve this question? See, stearate, actually in the this detergent molecules, there is some organic part will be there, and there is some inorganic part will be there. Organic part means carbon part. For example, so in some parts there is a COO minus will be there, and inorganic part is Na plus. And in some parts there is a SO3 minus will be there, and inorganic part will be like this. And in some part, some carbon group will be there. How many carbons and all you need not remember, but some organic part, a carbon group part will be there like this, and some inorganic part, inorganic ion like this. So like that, various detergents exist. Now if you look at these detergents, so some detergents will have a carboxylate, COO minus group will be there. Some detergent will have sulfonate will be there, sulfate will be there, and nitrogen with also nitrogen with 4 carbons if they are attached, it is possessing the positive charge. So now stearate is actually a carboxylate ion. Okay, even if you don't know it is carboxylate ion, you can easily tell sodium ion is there. Sodium cannot form the negative charge, it always forms positive charge. So if sodium is involved in a salt, it has to be in the positive form. Then what is the other part? Other organic part has to have negative part, whether it is a CO minus or SO3 minus, it is a different thing. Okay, even if you don't remember it is carboxylate, but you can tell the organic part is a negative part. If negative part is there organic, actually when detergent molecule, when it is acting as detergent, this organic molecular part is what actual main participant, not the inorganic part. Therefore, since organic molecular part is negative here, which is this is what we don't, this is a molecule we don't want, because they want cationic detergent, not the anionic detergent. So therefore the first one is excluded. Now here you need not remember what is this structure, organic structure, but ammonium bromide. Ammonium bromide means bromide will be with a negative charge, and ammonium, we know ammonium term will come when nitrogen is having positive charge, and there are 4 bonds are there with ammonia, with nitrogen, we call it ammonium. So we did not know how many carbons are there, but we can directly tell some organic part is there with positive charge inside. Therefore, it is a cationic detergent. We can tell this is a cationic detergent. This is our answer. Now, third option, there is a sodium is again there. That means Na plus is there, and some negative part will be there corresponding to the organic part. Actually, sulfonate means SO3 minus should be there. So some organic group is there and SO3 minus will be there in this, which we don't want, because it is an anionic part, organic part, so it is an anionic detergent. And sodium lauryl sulfate, similarly here we can tell sodium is there means Na plus is there, the organic part must be having the negative charge. That to sulfate means actually it is a RSO4 minus will be there, which is a anionic detergent. This also we don't want. So only one option is, that's why matching, that is second option. In this question, anisole is reacted with HI and they are expecting what is the product. See, when anisole reacts, anisole means it is an ether, one side benzene ring, other side methyl group must be there. This is called anisole. This anisole, when it reacts with HI, this oxygen gets protonated. The hydrogen will attack on the oxygen, and oxygen of this ether gets protonated like this. After that, the I minus will attack on the carbon through SN2 mechanism, and it will break this compound into phenol and methyl iodide. So these are the final products. You may ask you here one question, sir, why it is selecting this carbon? Why not it is selecting the other carbon, other side carbon of oxygen, this carbon? Why it is not selecting this? First of all, benzene ring, if you take, it is a planar compound. Now oxygen is in the same plane. Now if it has to attack this carbon, the group has to approach in this direction. But it is not possible because this benzene ring is in the same plane. So how it will penetrate through the benzene ring and attack at this carbon? That is not possible structurally. You may think that, sir, it may form carbocation and follow SN1 mechanism. Yes, it can follow SN1 mechanism also, but the problem is this carbocation is also highly unstable methyl carbocation, so therefore it cannot break like this and form carbocation. And also this part also will not break to form carbocation. The reason is this phenyl carbocation, benzene ring with positive charge, is highly unstable because these carbons here on the ring are double bonded carbons, which are more electronegative carbons. When the positive charge is on more electronegative carbon, such as double bonded carbons or triple bonded carbons, it is highly unstable. So highly unstable carbocation is difficult to form, therefore it is not able to form in this mechanism. That's why the quite possible mechanism in this is I- attacking through SN2 mechanism, that too this carbon, not the ring carbon, because I already explained ring carbon in order to attack backside attack, it is not possible because the ring carbons, the ring is there. How can it go through the ring and attack at this carbon? Not possible there. So only one possibility exists here. So if you see the options, what is the right option for this? So we want these products, methyl iodide and phenol. So where is that? This is iodide. Iodine is attached to ring. So this is not our answer. Now here phenol is there and methyl iodide is there. So this should be the right answer. In this question, they are asking which of the following is a natural polymer. See, if you look at these options, butadiene and acrylonitrile, this polymer is Buna S. Buna N. Buna S means styrene should be involved. So here Buna N. Here Bu represents the butadiene and N represents the acrylonitrile, and here Na is a sodium is used in its preparation. That's why the name is given as Buna N. So it is a synthetic polymer. Similarly, there is one more compound, Buna S, where styrene is involved and butadiene is involved. This is also a synthetic polymer. Now in the first one it is given Buna N is given. This is Buna N. And third option is Buna S. This is also a synthetic polymer. If you look at the second option, cis-1,4 polyisoprene. What is this cis-1,4 polyisoprene? Its structure is like this. You take butadiene. This is called butadiene. And here methyl group will be there attached. This is called isoprene. This is the monomer of natural rubber. Natural rubber is a polymer. Now in that, what is the monomer? Monomer is this. Many such units are joined to give the polymer called natural rubber. So when you take this molecule isoprene, now isoprene, when it is combined with other molecules to form polymer, so break this one, this bond, and put free radicals there. Now join these two free radicals to form the pi bond. like this. And the other free radical carbons, they will go and attach to the other such molecules. Other molecule will be there in a similar molecule. It will go and attach to other molecule. The other molecule, if I draw a similar molecule, I am getting like this. So there is a dot here and dot here. Now you can join these two carbons forming a sigma bond by joining these two free radicals. Then you will get this is connected to carbon. This carbon I have drawn, this carbon is this. So see, these two dots are joined here and in the form of a bond. And then this is connected to carbon, double bond C, and methyl group is there, and one more carbon is there. Similarly, the other carbon group, which is remaining here dot, this also similarly further reacts with another group. With another group, it will go and combine. So then there is a sigma bond forming between these two carbons. So in this manner, if you do it, you will get finally like this structure. Now again, this dot will react further and it keeps proceeding. So like this molecule forms a polymer. As you see here, at every carbon position, at every double bond position, if you notice it, there is a hydrogen. There is a hydrogen and methyl. The hydrogen and methyls are on the same side, as you see. And whereas the other group, this is other group and this is the other group. As you see, these two groups attach to the double bond carbon and they are on the same direction. This is downside and this is also downside. So like that, no matter which double bond you select and notice it, the bulky group attached to the double bonded carbon will be on the same side. The lighter group C and H will be on the same side. Therefore, this is a cis compound. Therefore, that's why natural rubber is a cis compound. Cis polymer. And since it is formed from the monomer isoprene, it is called cis 1,4 polyisoprene. Why the name 1,4? Because when the addition is happening, when the double bond carbons are being added, this is first carbon, this is fourth carbon, and 2 and 3 a double bond is forming, and 1 and 4 positions only the polymer is getting extended, or carbon groups are getting added at the 1 position and the 4th positions. That's why it is called, natural rubber is called 1,4 polyisoprene. And since it is a cis polymer, it is given as cis polyisoprene. So therefore, this should be the right answer. Dear students, if you really understood the concept and if you think you really benefited from this video, then please subscribe, like and share this video. Dear students, if you want to take full benefit of these classes, join our interactive live online classes by calling the phone number displayed on the screen. Thank you.